Good afternoon. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Frank Granito and Kevin Coleman in studio with Eric Gendron directing this afternoon as we are officially into the FCX spring postseason, and what an opening weekend we had on our hands, gentlemen.
Wilton beating Buchanan boys lacrosse. What a game that was Saturday afternoon. A lot of fun to be there on the sideline as well. It was a great atmosphere. The physicality, Frank, was there, and both teams really going after each other. That was a great game to watch. And again, congratulations to the Warriors. A great victory at Dunning Field, which is not an easy place to go and win a game.
No, it wasn't, and we thought, Eric, a couple weeks back, really after the opening game for the Rams, that should they draw Wilton in the postseason, that would be a pretty tough matchup for the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. That was kind of the matchup that we thought that New Canaan was going to be softest on, and I really had a feeling that this Wilton team was going to step up in this playoff season, and we saw that. Now, the reward is they get to draw the Darien Blue Wave, unfortunately.
Well, Kevin, you got to speak with goalie Andrew Calabrese after the game, and he really felt they were slighted, earning the 5th seed in the conference. So maybe the motivation is there, and they're the team that can knock off mighty Darien.
Well, they're certainly motivated, Frank. I mean, look at the performance they put on against a very talented New Canaan team who we all thought were going to punch their ticket again and play Darien in the semifinals and maybe even reach a final again. But this is a Wilton team that I think is a little angry that they got that 5th seed. So they came out with vengeance and proved why they should be a better seed than 5. And right now I think this is a Wilton team that could really cause some problems for Darien Tuesday night.
Wilton, not the only upset we saw in girls lacrosse back on Thursday. It was Ridgefield knocking off Greenwich in double overtime. Caitlin McMullen had 4 goals, including the game winner in that one. You also had Darien on Friday in baseball taking down Staples as the defending conference champions will march on to Harbor Yard. We should say now, originally scheduled for tonight, the baseball has been postponed. Semifinals are now on Wednesday, with the championship game to be played on Friday. But we will have plenty more on all of that later on in the show. First, we want to give a shout out to Patrick Metzger and Katie Shovlin of Wilton's softball team and the New Canaan baseball team. They were your Week 5 winners for Athlete of the Week. We have your Week 6 nominees coming up now. And for the females, we'll go over to Kevin.
Thank you, Frank. Starting things off for the female athletes of the week, we have Hannah Errico from St. Joseph's softball. Errico had 2 hits, drove in 2 runs, and was in on 7 outs from her second base position when the Cadets shut out Trumbull 11-0 in the FCAC quarterfinals. Errico posted 2 hits, including the 100th of her career, earlier in the week when St. Joe's dropped Staples 17-6. Up next is Haley King from Darien softball. Haley King smashed a 2-run double in the Waves' 4-run rally in the 6th inning as the second seed defeated number 7 Richfield 4-1 in the FCAC quarterfinals. King went 4 for 4 with 2 doubles and a home run when Darien defeated Norwalk 9-6. Up next is Kyle Kirby from Staples Girls Lacrosse. The freshman led all records in scoring with 4 points, 3 goals, and an assist as the number 5 Staples knocked off number 4 Wilton 13-7 in the FCAC quarterfinals. Kirby was all over the field offensively, helping Staples advance to the FCAC semifinals where they will face number 1 Darien. Up next is Caitlin McMullen from Richfield Girls Lacrosse. McMullen scored a game-high 4 goals, including the game winner as the 6th-seeded Tigers knocked off the 3rd-seeded Cardinals 15-14 in double overtime of the FCAC quarterfinals on Thursday. McMullen took a pass from Caroline Colonel on the decisive goal, which came with 1:12 remaining in the second OT. And last but not least is Brittany Romero from Ludlow softball. Romero fired 9 innings and allowed just 1 run as the number 6 Ludlow Falcons knocked off number 3 Stanford Black Knights 4-1 in the FCAC quarterfinals on Friday. Romero allowed 4 hits, all singles, and struck out 4 to get the win. She also walked 3 times in 5 plate appearances and scored 1 run. That'll do it for your female nominees. Now over to Frank for the males.
Thank you, Kevin. First up from Greenwich High is Jack Fita. The young man had quite the week against Trumbull. It started in the regular season finale. He had 4 goals and a 13-7 win. He then came back in the quarterfinal against the Eagles, scoring 6 goals and adding an assist. As Greenwich would roll 17-5, they advanced to the FCX semifinals where Ridgefield awaits. Next up from Trumbull Baseball, Tony Sosai, who drove in all 3 runs for the 8th-seeded Eagles in their 3-2 quarterfinal victory over number 1 West Hill. Sosai hit a 2-run homer in the second and had an RBI double later on in the 4th. He also had an RBI triple earlier in the week versus Danbury. Trumbull, they will take on Wilton now. They will take on Ridgefield next in the FCX semis. That game on Wednesday as they hope to get back to the championship to avenge a loss to Darien. Next, Kevin Lindley of Darien Lacrosse. He had 7 goals, breaking Darien's all-time scoring record for a single season in a 14-0 win over Ludlow. Lindley's 7 goals totaled him up to 75 for the year, breaking the school record of 73 set by Charlie Howe in 2000. Darien now 17-0 on the season. They take on Wilton tomorrow afternoon. Weston Carpenter of the Ridgefield Lacrosse team scored 5 goals as the Tigers rallied from deficits of 3-0 and 8-4 to beat Staples in the FCX quarters. Carpenter, the sophomore midi, had 3 straight goals to tie the game at 8 and would later score the goal that put Ridgefield ahead to stay. That made it 10-9. Finally, Andrew Calabrese, goaltender for the Wilton Lacrosse team, allowed just 7 goals on 18 shots, making 11 saves to help the Warriors knock off for the Rams for the first time in 10 tries. The win avenged a 1-goal loss to New Canaan at the start of this season and a 1-goal loss in last year's quarterfinals. Wilton will now advance to the semifinals where they take on number 1 Darien. There are your 10 nominees for Athlete of the Week. Make sure you go to han.network under the Athlete of the Week tab and vote for your Week 6 winners. They'll be announced next Tuesday at 11 a.m. on Coffee Break. You've got the extra holiday to get some more votes in. Let's step aside on Nutmeg Sports. When we get back, Eric, Kevin, and myself are going to break down all the FCX quarterfinal action from this weekend on the HAN Network's Nutmeg Sports after this.
Part of banking well is doing good. That's why, with the support of local community partners, Bankwell has launched the Bankwell Pet Adoption Project to boost awareness about the hundreds of animals in local shelters that need a home. And when you donate to the cause using the Bankwell self-service coin machines, we'll match your donation. For details, visit mybankwell.com/pleaseadoptme. Bank smart, bank local, bank well.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday, now at 3 locations: 131 Kings Highway North in Westport, the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue Norwalk, and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When it comes to considering the outside of your home, just imagine the possibilities. Whether your dream is a stunning freeform pool or a tranquil, secluded garden, the team of professionals at Stonebridge Associates will make it a reality. We offer unparalleled landscape design and construction, masonry development, pools, spas, and water features, as well as landscape and garden maintenance. No other firm can offer the same level of creativity, quality, and personal attention. Discover the possibilities at stonebridgeassociates.net or call 203-544-8376 today.
Pizza to satisfy even the most demanding critics. Tuesday Pazza Pizza.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Sign-ups are now open for one of our most popular programs, the New England 80 Elite Lacrosse Division I and Division III Showcases. With D1 and D3 coaches in attendance, players will receive a 60-minute webinar with Director of Recruiting Hans Hansen, a custom NE80 Penny, custom shorts, and a video of all games. Last year's event sold out quickly, so sign up now for the next showcase coming in January 2018. Like and follow us on Facebook.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network, and we shift gears now, putting our focus to the FCIAC postseason. Let's start with the baseball tournament. The road to Harbor Yard currently postponed. Semifinals picking up on Wednesday night, and the championship game scheduled for Friday now. We have our 4 semifinal teams, though, and some good matchups ahead of us. Let's start with the game we saw. Darien beating Staples, Kev, and they didn't have to use a lot of their pitching. It was timely hitting again, and another Casey Brown home run, proving to be the difference in a 4-3 win for the number 6 Blue Wave.
Yeah, it's the Blue Wave. I mean, just 1-3. I mean, the whole lineup itself. Everyone had some nice timely hits. You know, I thought Henry Williams was stellar on the mound for the Blue Wave. He's originally the shortstop. He came in to start, and I thought he looked wonderful. Peter Marin did an absolute terrific job of coming in relief, shutting down the door. And you're right, Casey Brown again. Coming up when it matters most, a big 2-run bomb, and probably one of the deepest parts of that stadium, too. So a big home run for Casey Brown. And again, that 3-4-5 in that batting order is very dangerous. So Darien right now looking pretty good going into the semifinals.
Eric, Ben Kasparius ends up getting the loss in this one. He did have a home run. He picked up a couple more hits, producing 2 out of the record's 3 RBIs, but his last 2 seasons with Staples, they missed the FCIAC tournament. They're out in the first round his senior year. What does this do to the legacy for Ben Kasparius?
I mean, single-hand, just for Kasparius, I don't think it does a whole lot. I mean, that was, the Ben Kasparius show. I mean, he got no help, I think, from the rest of his team, and he was trying to carry that team on his back in that game, and no one else could really step up to the plate. I think a key part of that game was the 2 double plays that Staples hit into, and nearly a third. Darien almost turned a third, and just barely missed. The Staples runner beat out the throw just barely, but that was a big part of that game that killed any momentum Staples had. They really didn't get their offense going at all beyond Kasparius, and I think one bad pitch to Casey Brown. I mean, he knew it when you watch these highlights in a minute here. You can see it on his face. He knows that the second it's off his bat that he gave up a home run. I don't think it affects his legacy at all, really. But it's disappointing that Staples, it kind of notoriously is boom or bust. They either win the championship or they get eliminated in the first round. It seems like many times since I've been covering the Staples records for the past 7 years here.
That was Trip Backus in the 2nd and the 4th inning who hit into those double plays. It ended up being 1, 2, 3 innings then with the double plays ending them. Let's look at the highlights. We'll come back and preview Darien's matchup now against Wilton, which will be a good one. Here are the highlights from Friday's Blue Wave win. You talk about distances having to be gone. You have to think for Williams, not as much pressure to get late in the game as Kasparius sends one out to center field. Jordan back at the track, and it is gone. A solo shot from Kasparius. He spots himself a run, and the Wreckers on top 1-0.
Well, Kasparius announced his presence with authority there, Kevin.
What a bomb. You knew that thing was gone off the... Once he hit that, the sound off the bat, I mean...
As he ropes one up the middle, it's an RBI single. Cord Fox awaits on deck. On a slow roller over to Sherp. Hopkins fires off the mark. It's an error and a run scores. Now 2 on. As he ropes one towards the left side. It's through the gap. Rogers is heading for home. He will score. And we are back tied at 2.
One big hit that could really end this game, so big moment here.
And that might be this big hit out towards left field. It is gone! A home run for Casey Brown. It's a 2-run shot and it's a 2-run Darien lead in the top of the 5th.
What a bomb. He finally gets around on one. You talked about his last at-bat. Drives the ball out to left field. Just missed that foul pole on the left field line.
And it's grounded back up the middle. Williams charging. He'll come over to first. And the defending conference champions are going back to Bridgeport. The 6 seed knocks off number 3. It is a 4-3 Blue Wave win. Big win for the Blue Wave. They did it the way we've expected them to do it all year. Rely on the bullpen, and then you come back as well with the big hitting. They take on Wilton now, who is a 3-2 winner in 9 innings over Norwalk. One thing that's got to be a sigh of relief, Eric, for Wilton with this postponement, should you find a way past Darien, Billy Black is eligible to pitch again in the championship game.
No, I'm sure that's on the minds of a lot of all 4 of these teams that are in these semifinals. They get a chance to throw their ace in the championship now, and that's a huge thing. We just 2 years removed from Wilton winning the FCX championship, and that was on the back of some amazing pitching. It's going to be very interesting. I'm really excited to see this Wilton team. It's a team that we haven't seen all season. Really excited to see them in person, and this is a like we said at the start of the tournament, anything could happen. And we saw that, don't never count out the Trumbull Eagles. If they can get into the playoffs, we've been saying it all year. If the Trumbull Eagles can get into the playoffs, don't count them out because they always seem to find a way to win. And they got the big upset over West Hill.
And they're going to have Faro available this week. Trumbull is going to take on Ridgefield, who beat New Canaan 5-3. Ridgefield will come back with Price this week now, and they'll have Lowe available should they get to the championship game. So baseball shaping up. We're going to have more on that tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit about boys lacrosse as we get closer and closer to that now. Darien, not much to say. They take care of business. Congrats to Kevin Lindley. That's incredible. When you think about the task of having to replace Minikis and Niffen this year, what Lindley and McGovern have done, it's truly unbelievable, Kevin.
Oh, the combo between the two of them is just a blast to watch. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing them in the semifinal game. The two of them up front on the attack for Darien. It's a blast to watch them play. The athleticism they have, not only that, the quickness, they know how to score. These are two studs who know how to play the game, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them tomorrow night. Greenwich,
a big win. FIDA is hot as any player in the conference right now, Eric. And then Ridgefield, huge comeback effort. I thought the Wreckers had the Tigers picked off in this one on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little surprising, but anything can happen in these playoffs, and you got to bring your best performance, and we saw what can happen when you don't.
And then we talked about it before, Wilton beating New Canaan. We're going to look at the highlights here quickly. This is a huge win for the Warriors. They were on a 9-game losing streak against New Canaan, some of those being absolute heartbreakers, too, when you think about it. Let's look at the highlights from the Warriors' 9-7 win in the FCA quarters over number 4 New Canaan. Goaltender for the Warriors. Heading to the front of the net. Open look in front. The Warriors strike first. It's Joe Murtha for the Tribe. Up top, and it's Holzer with it. Heard it there by Scarfy. Holzer gets free. Shot down low. Save Calabrese. O'Connell the rebound. Is it going to count? Yes. Ryan O'Connell ties us at 1. Man advantage has expired. As the shot for Murtha comes and score.
Good patience by Wilton. They didn't rush it to score in the man up.
Ryan O'Connell with 2 goals. Graham Braden, the third for the Rams, as we are knotted here. Quentin O'Connell shot down low, and he beat Calabrese off stick.
Great shot by O'Connell. Cuts across and then bounce.
Looking to dodge. Skip past there. Murtha with time and space, and he goes upstairs. We're tied at 5.
Murtha's found a spot just inside the 20-yard line to the left of Drew Morris, and he could just set up there. He's eventually going to get the shot, and he's going to throw line drives in there as he's done 3 times already today.
Back from Biceglia. Loses him, crosses midfield, a Warrior opportunity now. Murtha, pass to Calabrese on the doorstep and scores!
Murtha was in the same spot he scored his 3 goals in his hat trick from. Drew to hit, and Brian Calabrese was to his left and left all alone.
Gets around Holzer, thinking about shooting. He lets it go, and he finishes it.
The senior captain, with 97 seconds remaining, puts the lead back at 3, and that might do it. The Warriors will be the 4th team coming to play at Brian McMahon on Tuesday. They are back into the FCX semis. A 9-7 Wilton win as the Rams are stunned at home.
This is a huge win for Wilton. There's no denying that, Kevin. We talked about what they have up against them, but in my opinion, it might be time to reevaluate Coach Buzzio leading the Rams right now.
I can't say I agree. I think Chip has done a nice job at New Canaan building up that program. I mean, New Canaan lacrosse is always going to be a powerhouse. I mean, no matter what, boys or girls, just like Darien is. And I think it's a monumental win for Wilton. I think that puts them now at a spot where kids look up to that, and we've seen it all throughout the FCAC. How every game we've done, there's a huge youth movement at these games of kids looking up to the varsity players. I think a win like this for Wilton really gets things going in the youth program. So Wilton, again, you could see jump back up again. A win like that really sparks up a young program for Wilton.
This is a card that Frank's been holding close to his vest all season. Let's go, Frank.
I'm just saying. First of all, for Wilton, you've got a lot of young talent coming up now. When you look at the heart of your lineup being with Connor Drake up front, and you've got Andrew Calabrese in net, 2 sophomores who are going to help this program come back to really being relevant. When you think about it, this is a team that has not won an FCAC championship since 1999. They're closer than they have been in a long time, and this is where that program belongs. A lot of people have said, well, maybe Darien is just better. I argue against that. I don't think that Darien is just better, because you look at what Howard Benedict did with New Canaan for so long, and they were the premier program in this conference. He knew how to beat Darien. It's very doable. But the problem right now is they're playing an outdated game. And I understand that Coach Buzzio is an alumni of Princeton and was on a national championship team there, but this is not the Ivy League in 1996. He's got too many good athletes within his program to be slowing the game down. He's taking the air out of the ball completely, and they're not doing anything offensively. You win a Division II state championship essentially every year, and this is no disrespect to Class M, but New Canaan doesn't belong in Class M, and it's a disservice to the other programs that they're beating. You haven't won an FCAC championship since 2013. That's too long for this program with the standards that they set. And quite frankly, it's New Canaan. There is a demand to win. You don't lose in the first round. Not going to Brian McMahon is a major cause for concern. With all the talent there was on the team this year, and I expect them to go on and win states, but this is an underachieving class now. And that's very disappointing when you think with what they were surrounded by.
No, you're right. And I think they do set the standard high, especially when it comes to winning a conference title in the FCAC. I mean, you're absolutely right. The fact that they can't even get to Brian McMahon is not good. It's a bad sign. Maybe there was something going on behind the scenes, or it's the coaching staff. Who knows? But this I thought was a great senior class for New Canaan. These guys really showcased their skills, not only in lacrosse, but some of them are great football players as well in the fall. And they come in here, and guys like Ryan O'Connell, Graham Braden, Jackson Apel, these three, the list goes on. But this is a great class, a great roster, and I think they just fell to a Wilton team who was playing really well at the time. And it's a tough loss, and it's going to be a tough one to swallow, especially since they lost it at home.
I listen, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the Wilton win. I think that was, I said it after the first game, if they saw Wilton again in the playoffs, that it would be a terrible matchup, and I didn't expect them to win. But the Ridgefield loss at the end of the season is something that's really going to bother the Rams.
That's another concern, yeah.
And it's the second year in a row that's happened. They were able to avenge it in the semis last year, but they don't get it this time around. I'm sorry, Eric, and maybe I'm just being a little bitter and this or that, but in my opinion, I think it's time for a change, whether it's with the style of play of the Rams or with the man running it. And that's just me.
No, you got a point. I mean, the results just haven't been there for the Rams in recent years. I mean, Darien has, at times toyed with New Canaan, as you have said on several occasions, and Darien is just on this other level. But and it's tough to beat that team. But when you start losing out to some of the other teams too, that's when kind of start questioning. Okay, this is a program that has a rich history where do we draw the line? It's a point to raise. I have to agree with you, Frank. It's certainly a point to raise.
And that's exactly it. It's if you lose to Darien, that's one thing that there's Darien and the rest of the conference right now, and there's no denying that. But New Canaan lacrosse expects themselves to be on par up there. Losses against other programs are unacceptable. Looking ahead to the rest of the tournament, I think we have great matchups coming up. Wilton and Darien is going to be very exciting. That will be the late game on Tuesday. And then you have Ridgefield and Greenwich, a very interesting matchup. I like Greenwich a lot right now. I think they avoided the blunt of the FCX schedule. They didn't have to play New Canaan, got Darien late, and it was almost a game that didn't matter after New Canaan lost to Ridgefield. So I think they're as fresh as anyone right now, and they're just playing with such swagger and speed, it could cause problems for the Tigers.
Boy, I tell you, would have loved to see Ridgefield and Wilton maybe in the semifinals. That would have been really cool, but maybe we can get lucky. Maybe we'll spark up and see each other in finals.
Are we going to see Ridgefield-Wilton baseball and Ridgefield-Wilton boys lacrosse championship? Do you
That
want to
would-
go on record saying that now as your prediction?
That would be amazing. Honestly,
would be amazing.
From a selfish point of view for us, ratings-wise, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But,
I
would be a lot of fun.
I could not handle that with Coleman. There's absolutely no
They go to
way.
17 innings, SM
I'll
player
put-
comes out of the stands,
I'll put it this way, I don't think my heart can take it, especially after that. I'm still hurting after that FCI basketball championship game. My goodness, another great game. But I think you're right. These two matchups we get for boys lacrosse are excellent, and I think for Derry and Wilton, you look at it, throw the rankings out the window. I think Wilton really can give Darien some trouble, and Darien I've noticed, has had a little bit of a tough time starting games off, and they can't get off to that hard start right away. Once the game goes on, then they really start playing well. But Wilton's an interesting matchup for Darien, and then you look at Ridgefield Greenwich. We look back a couple weeks ago when we did that game at Cardinal Stadium. What a phenomenal game that was, back and forth. Ridgefield made that great comeback. These are two great matchups. I really do like that Ridgefield Greenwich matchup, though.
I do think you have the four best teams at McMahon, Eric.
Oh, absolutely. No, these are by far the four best teams remaining, and they are the teams that should be there. It's going to be some fun lacrosse, and if Wilton can bring their absolute A game and really showcase that crushing defense we've seen them have at times, this could be a lot closer than some people might think.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have more on those games tomorrow before the semifinals get kicked off at McMahon. Let's step aside one more time, guys. We'll come back, give you a quick recap of the girls lacrosse quarterfinals and preview of the semifinals, which will be seen here on the HAN Network later on tonight from Norwalk High. We'll have more Nutmeg Sports after this.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the Drive and Discover event. Now through May 31st.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
You don't have to go far for authentic Neapolitan cuisine and renowned wood-fire pizza. Pizzeria Loretano of Bethel is a contemporary Italian bistro, specializing in authentic wood-fired brick oven pizza Napoletana. Pizzeria Loretano was named one of America's top 1,000 Italian restaurants in 2008 by Zagat, and recommended by Jane and Michael Stern on National Public Radio's Splendid Table. Located close to the Bethel Cinema, we focus on quality, and our food is always made to order. Join us for live jazz Sundays from 6 to 8. Find our schedule, menu, and more at pizzerialoretano.com and like us on Facebook.
The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The dock shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, DocShop.com.
Spring has sprung at Walter Stewart's Market, and we're celebrating the new season with fresh takes on spring. From the finest produce around to guaranteed fresh seafood delivered daily by the best local supplier. Not only are we your time-saving one-stop shop for everything you need this season, our personable team is always ready with a helping hand. Shop Stewart's for the best of spring. Find us at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
La France de Charles Trenet, c'est la France de tous les Français.
I can't believe it.
Well, Dad, you did it. You sold 160 cars. Ready to go back upstairs now?
I think it's time. I wonder how the boys are making out in their new office. Not what I had in mind, Kyle. What, Dad?
Maybe we should retire. Right now, lease a 2017 Rogue S for only $139 a month. Isn't it time you got Millerized?
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune into Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Back on the HAN network, Frank Granito, Kevin Coleman getting set for this afternoon's semifinals in girls lacrosse. First game we will see will be New Canaan and Ridgefield. Ridgefield had the toughest time making it to the semifinals, but what a game it was. We were at Greenwich last Thursday for the Tigers' 15-14 double overtime win. Here are the highlights from that game.
Attack. First round of the FCAC tournament. Greenwich and Ridgefield, the 3 and 6 seed, and number 2, Paige Finneran, gives the Cardinals their first lead. 4 goals in that period. Is a big save by Lovelace. Rebound in front, and they score. This time it's Lucy Picard.
Great job there, getting her own.
So that's definitely frustrating on both sides of the ball. And you know, there's been a couple mistakes recently made, so it does seem like both teams, I don't know if they're getting hot out here or if they're just restless to get back on the board, but there you go.
There it is, right on cue as Paige Finneran circles around from the left side of the cage, goes upstairs, overheld stick. Not the equalizer right here, coming towards the front, shot down low, and we're tied at 7.
Great job there by Hoban.
Hopefully get on the board here.
As the shot goes down low, they beat Hell through the 5-hole, and it's a 2-goal Cardinal lead now with 21:39 remaining in regulation. Pass to the left side. Fahey cutting across, and the Cardinals able to strike.
What a great move in transition by the Greenwich Cardinals there. And how about Grace Fahey, the little.
And Colonel controls the draw. Up ahead, the Tigers, an opportunity to tie this game. Colonel with a shot, and she scores.
Doing what she does best. Caroline Colonel moving in transition. Rips.
Staples tomorrow afternoon to see the defending champion Darien Blue Wave take on the Wreckers, and Caroline Colonel is hoping to extend her FCAC season. Caitlin Slaminko, she's having a tremendous first FCAC postseason game, and she's going to add to it. The freshman comes across the middle, shoots back.
Ball around, see if they can tie this game up.
To Winter, spins inside, wants to get a shot up. She goes upstairs onto the crossbar, and we're tied at 14.
What a spin move.
And her controlling. Steps to her right. Pass inside, turnaround opportunity to let it go. It's in! McMullen snuck around to the front of the net. She went down low and beat Lovelace, but wait. As the officials need to check the stick first. And it's going to count. The Tigers are moving on. Caitlin McMullen, the overtime winner.
You see Caroline Colonel run all the way over to Lexi Held, over close to midfield,
and gave her a big hug because Lexi held. What an overtime she had, and what a great move by Caitlin McMullen. It was the pass from Caroline Colonel of McMullen cutting inside, and McMullen, while falling down, is able to get a shot on net, and it trickles by Sloan Lovelace as she nets her 4th of the afternoon.
So it'll be Ridgefield and New Canaan now, game 1. Again, Kevin, we saw this matchup earlier in the year. Ridgefield almost pulling off the comeback. I'm a little worried if I'm the Rams right now, especially after you surrendered a lead. Almost saw a lead completely evaporate against Fairfield Ward in the quarterfinals.
That is a little worrisome if you're the Rams. You've been getting off to great starts, and then you kind of sit back, and teams have been able to come back against the Rams. So they have to come out and play a great game here, great start, and they have to finish off. And they did that against the Tigers, but they can't let the Tigers come back and get within 1 goal again.
For the Staples Darien game, the first time these two teams met, Darien winning pretty handily. But what I liked was the big names for the Wreckers stepping up, all 3 of their captains combining for 6 goals total. They need some of that secondary scoring to come through. Eric, final question for you today. Do we see a matchup different than Darien New Canaan in the girls' finals?
If New Canaan continues their MO this year of letting leads slip away, I think this is the time that Ridgefield gets over the hump. New Canaan, just for whatever reason, gets in their own heads with a lead late, and this might be the opportunity that Ridgefield was looking for to, just to take this game and to have that, seize that opportunity and get into that final. So I guess my recommendation would be New Canaan, play from behind today.
Kev, final thoughts before we head off to Norwalk.
Ridgefield going to the final. That's my prediction right there. Go Tigers.
Yeah, big surprise there. For Kevin Coleman, Eric Gendron, I'm Frank Granito. We'll see you at Norwalk High, 5 o'clock for New Canaan and Ridgefield. Darien and Staples at 7. And, of course, as always, coffee break, Kate Jablonski, 11 a.m. right here on the HAN Network.